There's an old saying that echoes through the ages. When we're young, we bend over backward to please others, but as we grow older, we learn that the truly wise take a different path. Welcome to today's video, where we'll uncover 9 critical mistakes smart men must avoid in their relationships with women. Mistakes that even the most intelligent men make, often without realizing the damage they're causing. Think about this. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest emperors in Roman history, once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This profound truth applies directly to relationships. Sometimes our mistakes aren't born out of ignorance, but from overthinking and misplaced intentions. And ironically, the smarter a man is, the more likely he is to fall into these subtle yet devastating traps. I've seen it happen to men who appear to have it all: wealth, intelligence, confidence, yet struggle with the simplest aspects of connection. In today's video, we'll dive deep into insights from Stoic philosophy, powerful life lessons, and real-world experiences. Lessons I learned the hard way, and that countless men, perhaps even you, are still learning. And I promise you this: if you're willing to reflect on these truths, you'll walk away with a new perspective, one that can transform not only your relationships, but your entire approach to life. Before we dive into these 9 crucial points, I have a favor to ask. Have you ever made a mistake in a relationship that you wish you could take back? Drop it in the comments below. Your story might just be the key that helps another man avoid the same heartbreak. Mistake 1. Oversharing your past. Let's start with something many men misunderstand: how much of their past they should reveal. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "Memories are the ghosts that haunt us." And nowhere is this more evident than in relationships. Here's the thing. Many men, especially intelligent ones, fall into the trap of believing that complete honesty about their past, every mistake, every regret, every heartbreak, will build a deeper connection. They think it shows emotional maturity and vulnerability, but here's the hard truth. Once you share something, you can never unshare it. Imagine this. A man confides in his partner about his deepest insecurities, his failures, his weaknesses, his past relationships gone wrong, thinking it will foster closeness. But months later, in a heated argument, those very words are thrown back at him, twisted into weapons. The lesson here is simple but powerful. Not every part of your past needs to be revealed. Think of your past like a precious treasure, something sacred, something that only those who truly earn your trust should ever see. The Stoics taught us to guard our inner selves, to be selective with what we share. Your past isn't something to flaunt, it's a part of you to protect. When you overshare, you hand over a piece of your power. Instead, let mystery work in your favor. Share your story slowly, and only when it adds value to the relationship. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the best way to avenge yourself is not to become like your enemy. In this case, the best way to protect your heart is to control how much of it you reveal. So, keep your past private, not because you're hiding, but because you're safeguarding something precious. Your story is yours, and you decide who earns the privilege of hearing it. Mistake 2. Fearing solitude. Let's talk about something most men avoid admitting: the fear of being alone. Aristotle said, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom." Yet, too many men live their lives avoiding the mirror of solitude. How many of you have seen a friend, or maybe even yourself, stay in a toxic, draining relationship simply because the thought of being alone felt unbearable? It's like clinging to the walls of a burning house because you're afraid of the cold outside. I've met CEOs, leaders and men at the top of their game professionally who crumble when faced with a weekend alone. They'd rather endure disrespect, drama, and even emotional abuse than confront the silence of solitude. But here's the truth the Stoics understood. If you can't be at peace with yourself, you'll never know if you're with someone out of love or fear. Picture this. A man jumps from one relationship to another, never giving himself time to heal or reflect, constantly filling his life with noise to avoid the stillness. But in doing so, he gives away his power, because the person who fears being alone will always settle for less than they deserve. The solution? Start small. Spend time with yourself, not out of obligation, but as an act of self-discovery. Take yourself on a solo trip. Sit in a cafe with a book. Redefine solitude as strength rather than weakness. Because here's the paradox. When you embrace being alone, you'll attract people who complement your life instead of completing it. You'll no longer accept relationships born out of desperation. Remember this, being alone doesn't mean being lonely. It means you're strong enough to wait for someone who matches your worth rather than clinging to someone who merely fills a void. In the words of the Stoics, he who is content with himself is never truly alone. Number 3, treat your time like gold. Let's talk about the one thing you can never get back, your time. Seneca, one of history's greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." And when it comes to relationships, this couldn't be more true. Think about it. How many hours have you spent anxiously rereading a text message, waiting for a call that never came, or replaying conversations in your head, trying to decipher their hidden meanings? How many weekends have you lost, bending over backward for someone who wouldn't even show up when it truly mattered? Time is a relentless force, as Marcus Aurelius put it. Time is like a river. Once it passes, it's gone forever. Yet I've seen countless men, brilliant and full of potential, waste the best years of their lives chasing people who see them as nothing more than an option. They skip gym sessions, put career goals on hold, cancel plans with friends, all in the name of prioritizing someone who wouldn't think twice about prioritizing them. Let's face it, while you're rearranging your life for someone else, they're out there keeping their options open. Here's the hard truth the Stoics understood. Time is your most valuable asset. You can rebuild your finances, you can recover from a breakup, but wasted time, that's gone forever. So, how do you protect your most precious resource? By treating it like the treasure it is. Before investing days, weeks, or years into someone, ask yourself, are they investing equally in you? Are they helping you grow or just holding space in your life? Remember, wise men don't just manage their money well, they manage their time even better. Let me leave you with this thought. Every moment spent with the wrong person is a moment stolen from the right one. So stop giving away your hours, your energy, and your focus to people who haven't earned it. Start valuing your time as much as you want others to value you. Because when you waste time on the wrong person, you're not just giving away minutes, you're giving away pieces of your life. Number 4, own your success, don't hide it. Let's tackle a struggle that many successful men face, the fear of showing their true achievements. Epictetus, another great Stoic thinker, once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." But let's be honest, there's a fine line between humility and dimming your light to make others feel comfortable. I've seen it over and over. Men who've built empires, crushed goals, and overcome enormous challenges suddenly downplay their success in relationships. They'll avoid talking about their promotions, ignore their accomplishments, or even pretend to be less ambitious, all because they're afraid of being seen as arrogant, intimidating, or too much. Somewhere along the way, they started believing the lie that their success would scare people off. But here's the truth. If your success intimidates someone, they're not your person. As Marcus Aurelius wisely put it, the best revenge is to not be like your enemy. In this case, it means refusing to shrink yourself for the comfort of others. Think about it. Your achievements are not just trophies. They're testaments to your hard work, resilience, and vision. They're proof of the obstacles you've overcome and the dreams you're chasing. Hiding that isn't humility, it's self-sabotage. The right partner won't be threatened by your success. They'll be inspired by it. A strong, confident woman doesn't want a man who hides his light. She wants someone who will shine alongside her and encourage her to chase her own dreams. Owning your success isn't about bragging. It's about embracing the journey that got you to where you are. It's about saying, yes, I've worked hard and I'm proud of it. So here's the solution. Stop dimming your light to make others feel better about their shadows. Share your victories, not to boast, but to inspire. Share your challenges, not to seek pity, but to show growth. And remember, anyone who truly deserves to be part of your life will celebrate your wins with you, not resent them. Your achievements aren't just bullet points on a resume. They're chapters in your story, and the right person will want to read every single page, from the struggles to the triumphs. Don't edit yourself to fit into someone else's narrative. Be the author of your life, and let the world admire the masterpiece you're creating. Number 5, guard your mental fortress, because no one else will. Let's address something most men are afraid to admit: how relationships can affect your mental health. The Stoics had it right. Your mind is your fortress. It's your sanctuary, your power, your strength. But too often, we allow that fortress to crumble under the weight of someone else's drama, mood swings, or manipulation. We'll hit the gym to strengthen our bodies, work tirelessly to grow our bank accounts, yet when it comes to protecting our mental peace, we hand over the keys to anyone who asks. As Marcus Aurelius wisely reminded us, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. But let me ask you, how often do you let someone else's chaos invade that way of thinking? How many times have you lost sleep, obsessively checked your phone, or replayed arguments in your mind, trying to decode someone's cryptic behavior? I've seen brilliant men, confident, successful, strong, reduced to anxious wrecks, all because they let the wrong person take up too much space in their head. Here's the brutal truth. If your relationship constantly robs you of your peace, it's not love. It's emotional warfare. The Stoics taught us that peace of mind isn't something you sacrifice for a relationship. It's a non-negotiable. Because if you give up your mental stability, what's left to offer your partner? A burnt-out, anxious, hollow version of yourself? So what's the solution? Set boundaries, firm ones. Learn to say no to toxic behavior, walk away from unnecessary drama, and protect your mental health at all costs. And here's the kicker. Someone who genuinely loves and values you will never ask you to choose between their happiness and your sanity. They'll understand that a healthy relationship starts with two healthy minds. Remember, taking care of your mental health isn't selfish. It's essential. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't build a thriving relationship on the foundation of an unhealthy mind. So, start treating your mental peace like the fortress it is, and don't let anyone in who doesn't deserve to be there. Number 6, be true to yourself, because pretending is exhausting. Now let's dive into a hard truth. Every time you change who you are to make someone else happy, you lose a piece of yourself. Albert Camus put it best. The moment you start changing who you are to please someone else is the moment you start losing yourself. Think about it. How many times have you agreed to something you didn't believe in, laughed at jokes you didn't find funny, or pretended to like something just to avoid conflict or gain approval? The Stoics warned us about this too. When you try to be someone you're not, you suffer twice. Once from the strain of pretending, and again from the inevitable failure of not being able to keep up the act. I've seen men, strong, principled men, completely reshape their lives just to fit into someone else's ideal. They give up hobbies they love, distance themselves from friends who ground them, even let go of family traditions, all for the sake of keeping the peace. But here's the catch. The more you abandon yourself, the more the relationship begins to crumble. Why? Because authenticity has a power that no performance can replicate. The irony is, the more you try to mold yourself into what you think someone else wants, the less attractive you become. People can sense when you're not being genuine, and that lack of authenticity eats away at trust and connection. As Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid for staying true to what you believe." So what's the solution? Start saying no. Start speaking your truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Stand firm in your values, even if it means some people walk away. Because here's the thing, the right person won't ask you to change who you are. They'll challenge you to become the best version of yourself, not a different person entirely. Being true to yourself isn't just about honesty, it's about freedom. Freedom to live as you are, to love as you are, and to build relationships that honor your authenticity. And trust me, the right partner will value the real you far more than any version of you that's edited for their convenience. Number 7, never sacrifice your goals, because your purpose defines you. Let's talk about one of the most dangerous mistakes you can make in a relationship: sacrificing your dreams for someone else's happiness. Seneca, the great Stoic thinker, put it bluntly, "No person has the power to have everything they want, but it is in their power not to waste their time chasing what they can't have." Yet, time and again, I've seen men put their dreams on the back burner for a relationship that doesn't even stand the test of time. They abandon career opportunities, let go of business ventures, and even give up passions that once lit a fire in their souls, all because they believe that love requires compromise. But here's the harsh truth. Love should never demand the death of your ambitions. When you give up your path to walk someone else's, you're not just sacrificing your goals, you're sacrificing the essence of who you are. And do you know what's even more heartbreaking? When these men wake up years later, filled with resentment, looking back at all the things they wanted to do, but never did, they glance at the mirror and barely recognize the person staring back. As Marcus Aurelius wisely warned, "Look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will always look." But how can you tap into that strength if you've buried it for someone else's convenience? Here's the deeper issue. When you abandon your purpose, you don't just lose respect for yourself, you also lose the respect of your partner. Because, let's be honest, no one admires someone who gives up everything for love. It might seem romantic at first, but over time, it becomes a source of frustration and disappointment. The solution? Keep your dreams alive. Pursue them relentlessly. Invite your partner to join you on your journey, but never let them derail your path. A healthy relationship doesn't require one person to shrink for the other. It allows both people to grow together. The right partner will cheer for your victories, not feel threatened by them. They'll see your ambition as a strength, not a competition. Because true love doesn't ask you to sacrifice your dreams. It inspires you to chase them harder. And the person who truly belongs in your life will be right there with you, not holding you back, but pushing you forward. Number 8. Keep your circle close. Family and friends are your true wealth. Let's talk about a devastating mistake that even the smartest men make: neglecting their core relationships, family and friends, for the sake of romance. Plato once said, "The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself." To be conquered by yourself is, of all things, most shameful and vile. And nothing demonstrates this more clearly than when men allow a romantic relationship to erode the bonds they've built with the people who've always had their back. Picture this: a man in the throes of a new relationship begins to drift. He cancels on his friends for last-minute plans with his partner. Family dinners become distant memories. He skips important milestones, traditions, and rituals with those who've been there through thick and thin. And he tells himself it's okay, it's love, it's compromise, it's what relationships demand. But here's the bitter truth: what he thinks is investment is often slow destruction. I've seen it time and again, men burning the bridges they might one day desperately need. By the time they realize their mistake, it's too late. Their friends have moved on. Family ties, once vibrant, have grown fragile or even broken. And if the relationship they sacrificed it all for comes crashing down, they find themselves standing in the wreckage, utterly alone. Here's a truth many overlook: the strongest, happiest relationships are those where both partners maintain connections outside the relationship. Why? Because when you depend on one person to fulfill all your emotional needs, you're not just setting yourself up for disappointment. You're placing an unbearable burden on your partner. No one person can or should carry the weight of being your everything. The Stoics understood this deeply. No man is an island, but every man needs his tribe. Your family and friends are your safety net, the anchors that keep you grounded when life gets stormy. You might not feel their importance during the good times, but when the waves of hardship hit, their support can be the difference between sinking and surviving. So, what's the solution? Make time for your people. Call that old friend. Attend family events. Keep your traditions alive. Show up for the people who've always shown up for you. And here's a hard truth: if your partner is trying to isolate you from your support system, they're not protecting your relationship, they're controlling it. Someone who truly loves you will encourage, not discourage, your relationships with family and friends. Remember, a relationship should add value to your life, not subtract from it. Don't wait until you're falling to realize you've cut away your own safety net. Prioritize the people who'll be there for you no matter what, because those bonds, those connections are priceless. Number 9. Build a life beyond dependency, because true strength comes from within. Let's wrap this up with what might be the most critical principle of all: avoiding the trap of excessive dependency. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest thinkers, put it perfectly. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. But here's the thing: too many men give away that power in relationships. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a man who's successful, confident, and independent, at least on the surface. But the moment he falls into a relationship, something shifts. He begins checking his phone obsessively, anxiously waiting for her reply. His schedule revolves entirely around her availability. If she's happy, he's happy. If she's upset, his entire day is ruined. Slowly but surely, his world shrinks until it revolves solely around her. Here's the hard truth. When you make someone else the source of your happiness, you hand them control over your peace. And as the Stoics warned, that's a recipe for disaster. Dependency doesn't just weaken you, it makes you less attractive. Why? Because the very confidence and independence that drew her to you in the first place disappear when you become overly reliant on her approval, attention, or presence. It's a vicious cycle. The more dependent you become, the more pressure she feels. The more pressure she feels, the more distant she becomes. And the more distant she becomes, the more desperate you become. It's a slow unraveling of the man you once were. The harsh reality is this. When you make someone your everything, you eventually become their nothing. The relationship shifts from mutual respect to one-sided neediness, and the spark that once ignited your connection fades. So what's the solution? Build a life so rich and fulfilling that a relationship becomes a bonus, not a necessity. Pursue your passions with vigor. Develop hobbies, friendships, and goals that have nothing to do with your partner. Create a space in your life that is wholly your own. Because, as Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Happiness doesn't come from her texts, her smile, or her presence. It comes from the strength and stability you cultivate within yourself. A healthy relationship isn't about two halves making a whole. It's about two whole people coming together to share a life while maintaining their individuality. The bigger picture builds strength from within. As we wrap up these 9 timeless principles from Stoic philosophy, let's take a moment to reflect. These aren't just rules for relationships, they're guidelines for life. They're about preserving your dignity, strength, and authenticity as a man. They're about building a foundation so solid that no storm, romantic or otherwise, can shake it. Remember, following these principles doesn't make you cold or unfeeling. It makes you wise. It's not about manipulating or controlling relationships. It's about ensuring you never lose yourself in the process of loving someone else. So, if this message resonated with you, hit the like button and share it with others who might need to hear this. Leave a comment below sharing the principle that struck a chord with you. Your story might be the inspiration someone else needs to turn their life around. Until next time, stay strong, stay grounded, and most importantly, stay true to yourself. True strength isn't found in someone else's arms. It's found in your own unwavering sense of who you are.